Cumbernauld 2025 National. Let's get into it because it was definitely a weekend. It was not great. So last year was my first Scottish National, and this year obviously the second, if you're good with maths. So my group in Cruiser had 31 riders, and before I even got to the track on Friday for practice, we'd been merged with 39. Didn't even get asked that. Apparently you need 9 riders to make the group, so they had 8, so they didn't have a group. I don't know why someone has to get dropped. You can just do 4 motos. Like it didn't change anything about our group because we had 1 extra moto in ours, whereas they would have had 1 moto there. So it doesn't speed anything up. It doesn't change the points I scored, but it did make it 39, so then we had to have quarters, so we had an extra race, which is annoying if you were already in the top 16, which I was on Sunday, but obviously Saturday I would have been a bit annoyed if we just had semis. So you got to weigh up your options there. So Saturday we're going to go motos straight one after the other because they're pretty rubbish. Gates 6, 1 and 7, and here they are. I've got 2 6s and a 5th, which is if you know BMX, that's bad. So after those interesting motos, I barely scraped through to the quarters, which I was 29th out of 39, so you obviously top 32 get into the quarters, so I was just in there, but I had 8th pick, ended up gate 8. Had my fastest hill of the day, but it wasn't to work out because I had my first straight was pretty good. I didn't move all the way over, again, same problem I had at Andover and Zolder, and mainly all this year so far, but I did get into 5th, and I was fairly close to 4th, but by the 3rd and 4th straights, they were a bit further ahead. I wasn't catching them, but here's the quarter anyway. As I said, we were merged, so here's my results for Saturday. There was a little 18 in brackets, which means on the day I was 18th, but in our category I was 15th, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's basically a B final, but I'm getting the points for 15th, but I didn't get to race a semi, or a B final, so that's kind of how it weighs up. But the points, I'll take the points. Normally, if you watch my national videos before, I kind of do better on the Sunday. I guess that's just because I'm more confident with the track. Even though I normally do a Friday practice, I'm just more confident on the Sunday maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping to improve that obviously, because I don't want to waste the Saturday every time. So yeah, I started off the day with a 4th on Sunday, and then second moto was a 4th, and third moto was a 4th as well. From gates 8, 4 and 1, which is not too bad. Opposed to Saturday, on the Sunday I then had 4th pick in the quarter, which was much better, and I think everyone just went 1, 2, 3, 4, so I went in 4. I had a very good gate. By the time I got to the first corner, I was sort of on the outside of the rider in front of me going into the first corner, so I guess I'd left a gap, or I had left a gap, a rider's gap behind him, if that works out in your head. It's a right-hander corner, and you can see that the guy behind just comes and swoops under me. I mean, it's a low move, but I left a gap there, so that's my fault again, and I couldn't quite I was catching him down the second straight and then the third straight, but the last corner I didn't really do a move. I just kind of went lower than him because he went a bit wide, and I couldn't really catch up, so that was a bit annoying. But 2 5ths in the quarters both days in Scotland. On Sunday was the quickest hill of the weekend, and my second motor on Sunday was my quickest lap time, which was I'm pretty happy with that. Looking back at my times last year, it's still slower, but we had such a headwind on first and third straights, which I think that was the difference. Yeah, that's why I was slower. It's a bit annoying, but still made it work. It was much better than the Friday practice where we had side wind, so I really didn't want side wind on either of the race days, because picking up that first jump is hard enough without having to have wind coming at you and trying to push you into another rider and all that business, and having some other rider get pushed into you because they can't pick up the first properly. But anyway, that didn't happen. So similar to Saturday, I had 19th on the day and I had 16th overall in my category, which I'll take that. I'll take it. It's not as good as Saturday by 1 place, but it's still a top 16 finish, so I think I'm 14th or 13th overall in nationals at the moment, which is better than last year so far, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can improve that a bit, or at least make the semis at the next national. Overall the weekend was good. The racing was alright. It didn't rain, and as I said, the wind stayed in one direction, which was a headwind, so that was alright. Even for second and fourth straight, that's a little bit of a tailwind, so that helped out a little bit. The only thing wrong with that track mainly is how they resurfaced it. Apparently they resurfaced it a week before the national, which is never ideal, but I assume Cycler Park are going to do that for the Brits, so we'll have a soft track for the Brits. But that's what we had at Cumbernauld, and they had made all the lips way too lippy for some reason. Like into the first corner, if you rode it you would have known, that triple into first corner, it felt like it had coping on it, someone said to me. It felt like it went vert. Like, I don't see how that helps at all, rather than having just like a rounded off lip, so you can have a pump jump like on a normal triple, a normal step up double, where you can sort of pump jump it, or pump manual it, pump whatever. You're just not doing that on that sort of lip. And then yeah, all the lips really were too tight. The last straight seemed like it was closer together, all those jumps, but anyway, we got through it. There was a lot of crashes though, and I think that's got to be to do with the track, because you don't see that many crashes at nationals normally. You see a lot of crashes, but this was many. If you race at Scotland, let me know how you did, and thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
The roof don't drop, so we poking out of the sunroof. No AC, no MP3s, only CDs. Tell me what you want to do. If I don't make it, please don't fake it. You got me if I got you. I got this spot too, that I go to when the sun is up, the grass is green. There ain't no TV screen, only blue skies. Please use your imagination, tell me what you dream. And I picture you and I on the scene. But are you snapping? Cause I ain't getting cream from serving packets on the block to